terrorist base, destroyed by American forces while defending
Our
civilians.
victorious forces continue their liberation
against a striking America and China reporting
in
several
today's
GLA
Dakota Council session.
Tensions are high.
senseless American aggression once more fills
Our
the sky.
premier again denied involvement.
The military had the fragmented Global Liberation Army on the
Splinter
run.
groups vying for
The
control.
American response is its signature shock and awe campaign.
China is here to help our European combat.
The United States believes that a general, codenamed Dr. Threats, is running the lethal program.
Humiliating America by penetrating its own borders and raiding its weapons of mass destruction.
Further transmission may be difficult.
Hey everyone, it's Dakota. This time around, let's talk a little bit about the 0-hour expansion for Command & Conquer Generals. It takes everything the base game did to a whole new level by adding great new campaigns, units, faction abilities, and more. The absolute best way to play Generals is with the 0-hour expansion, as it makes the game feel more complete. It introduces sweeping changes to how the different factions work, specifically in the skirmish and challenge modes. There are now literal generals who specialize in specific units, buildings, and strategies, allowing the game to better live up to its actual name. My personal favorite was the Air Force General, big surprise there, huh? And I absolutely loved all of the new units added in the expansion. King Raptors, my personal favorite, offer more striking power against heavier units, while another new one called the Avenger is a strong anti-air laser unit.
Unit lost.
Targeting for rapid fire.
Congratulations, General. You have been promoted.
All the generals play uniquely to their own strengths, and the DLC's changes make battles feel like they have even more depth to them. The expansion also adds some more skirmish maps, one of which is my favorite of all time. It's called Mountain Guns and is the only 5-player map size available. I have a lot of childhood memories here, and it's always my go-to choice whenever I boot up the game again.
Unit lost.
One of the wishlist items for this game that I mentioned in my previous review was some type of water unit. I felt like they would fit into the game really well, and we kinda got it through 0 Hour. A GLA mission requires you to move troops across a river by using a boat, but it's just a stagnant object that moves from one place to the next. You don't actually control anything about it except for the button that makes it launch, so it doesn't quite hit my wishlist mark, but at least they tried something new, I guess. 0 Hour comes with 3 brand new campaigns that are 5 missions long apiece. It begins with the USA and continues the story from the main game. You can immediately tell the developers have a better grasp at how to make cutscenes within their engine, as this campaign starts with some higher quality set pieces that also show off some of the new units. That quality was thankfully persistent throughout all 3 campaigns, with more units being present on screen and what visually takes place being more complicated. However, I did experience that same glitch as before where the ground disappears during the cutscene. I'm not really sure why it keeps happening, but it does make for some interesting imagery. I first described the base game's campaign as an overview of events as they happen from the perspective of the generals, rather than a deeper character-driven story. This is taken a step further in 0 Hour by having reporters who give news updates at the start of each mission. The campaigns are all treated as a quote-unquote real series of events, like what you would see with similar situations in the world nowadays.
Although America's military had the fragmented Global Liberation Army on the run following the last conflict here, terrorist activity remains a clear and present danger.
I thought it was a nice touch, though the story itself isn't quite as well refined. It loses some of its believability, especially during the GLA campaign, and the whole thing is definitely more pro-China than anything else. That said, I found the overall quality of the missions themselves was above that of the base game, and I liked that there were more special mechanics available. For example, one of the USA missions gives you access to practically unlimited airstrikes via a nearby supporting aircraft carrier. This is like a dream come true for me. There's also a frigate you can use to continuously bomb the enemy base.
Unit lost.
Contrary to that improvement, there's another Colonel Burton-oriented mission where it only gives you a limited amount of units to get through the objectives. I'm usually not the biggest fan of these ones, as I mentioned in my previous video. It was just okay this time around, but the glitch where my units take hits without reacting happened again pretty consistently.
Our Colonel Burton has been detected.
I did find one of the USA missions to be harder than all the rest. You get set up in an area with limited supplies and are tasked with taking over oil refineries from the GLA to generate more money. You do get some random reinforcements throughout the level, but it can easily go south if the GLA hits you with a decent attack that takes out a lot of your buildings. Scud launchers were by far the most annoying threat this time around, as they attacked while sitting just out of range of most of my units. Even though the balance of how many enemy units were coming at you was a little off, it was still a fun and challenging mission. The final USA mission is another exciting one, offering up a huge map with a lot of open space and plenty of GLA to deal with. They're also encamped within a city that's between your base and theirs, and they even have a smaller base that's right next door to yours that you can take over if you play your cards right. It's a big and satisfying finale with lots of buildings and units to blow up, so I especially enjoyed using the Air Force like I always do. The GLA also comes with a few new units, one of my favorites being the Motorcycle Rider. It's quick and can be powerful depending on what type of troop is riding it. The GLA's campaign also introduces you to one of the new generals, who uses shrouding technology to hide their units on the battlefield while they're not in combat. This mission was fun because you had to use radar vans to uncover hidden enemies, and it was almost scary to move forward on the battlefield without them.
Watch your step! Okay, over there! Attack before they attack us!
Carrying on with better mission design, another GLA level cleverly introduces you to a new sneak attack power. It's quite the upgrade for this faction's maneuverability, as it allows you to create a tunnel anywhere within your current visibility. The mission itself involves hopping around some scattered islands by using your newfound ability, and there are hidden resources and units spread throughout the map too.
They won't expect anything.
This toxin tractor will come in handy.
The final GLA mission was another entertaining large-scale battle setup. If you play your cards right, you can actually take over buildings from all three factions and use almost every unit available in the game. While I love this part of it, enemy super weapons were menacing during this fight. I mean, it does make sense since you're fighting the USA, and I ended up having to rebuild my base constantly because of their attacks.
Our enemy is using their target.
Our base is under attack!
A warrior has fallen.
China's new campaign is the last one up. There are a few good missions and a couple of rougher ones. The second one stood out to me because of the unique scenario it provided. You begin by protecting nuclear reactors from GLA forces while being boxed in on all sides. The objective at first is pure survival before you can hit them with a counterattack. It was fun having a perimeter or even base to protect against various waves of enemies.
Red Guard, immediately!
And I honestly wouldn't be against playing a firefight or survival style mode in this game. Moving forward, I found the third Chinese mission to be ridiculous in several ways. You have to destroy GLA towers to restore the quickly fading public trust or approval, but you're put at a severe disadvantage from the start. The GLA outguns and outnumbers your bare bones forces by miles, and the Chinese units just don't have the speed to effectively counter the Scud launchers and rocket buggies without taking substantial losses.
Fighting for the Red Army. Right here, for the Red Army. We are invincible. Right here, attack! Where is the battle?
And here's the best part. The final tower is in the middle of a GLA base, protected by about 20 tanks. I had to cheese this mission by building scaffolding next to that particular tower just to get the enemies to shoot it by accident. It was quite a ridiculous mission, with the odds stacked way out of your favor.
Right here.
Unit lost.
We will prevail. We will defend this territory.
The China campaign does improve after that mission. The fourth involves cutting off retreating GLA convoys through a mountainous map. There are cannons you can capture that are set up throughout the area, and it feels like another tower defense style level. It's not super fast paced either, so it isn't too difficult to adapt to the new enemy routes as they come. The final China mission was probably my favorite of the entire expansion. You're up against the GLA and a captured USA base, which means you're essentially fighting both factions at the same time. There's plenty of leftover USA vehicles scattered around the map for you to occupy, and I like that there were several options for how you could handle the mission.
This territory. They won't escape. Destroy China's enemies. Attack!
Unit lost.
Make in flight China's air force.
General's powers were essential here because of the large groups of hostiles and defenses stuffed within all of the bases. It's a great way to end the zero-hour campaigns, as it really allows you to build up your forces and have huge fights.
Power to the US base is down. Finish them quickly before they can rebuild.
All right, boys, let's go.
Get in formation right now! Enemy sighted!
We have been waiting for you, General. Please, accept our gifts. More gifts, General. Our generosity is limitless. Now, General, I think you understand why I am known as Shitao the Nuke.
There's also a new game mode added by this expansion called Challenge Mode. You pick a single general to play as and then have to fight against all the other new generals in custom-made 1v1 scenarios.
General Granger versus Dr. Thrax.
Hey, you cannot defeat my toxins, General. Do not think I cannot see your spies flying over my base. Please, look all you wish, because this may be the last time you ever see my stronghold. As you can see, my defenses are impenetrable, and my toxic weapon systems will poison your troops long before they can reach me.
It's essentially a set of new campaigns, as each general you pick would have like 7-ish battles apiece to go through. The mode is also a great way to see all the new units and abilities added by the expansion, as you'll have to overcome all of them throughout your battle.
My greatest super weapon is my brain.
Challenge mode is a bit harder than the main campaigns because the enemies start with their bases already built, and they usually have a super weapon ready within the first 5 to 10 minutes.
Particle cannon activated. Unit lost.
General, our base is under attack.
I found the best strategy for me was to get leveled up as fast as possible, and then use all my generals' powers to destroy their super weapons.
You cannot believe your luck will hold up much longer, can you, General?
Otherwise, it can be a pretty rough time, especially if your opponent is attacking consistently with their regular forces too. After some testing, it seemed like the EMP Patriot missile systems paired with a line of snipers was almost perfect against most units, except the King Raptors and their laser defense systems. I had a ton of fun playing this new mode because you had to take on each scenario differently as the general that you originally chose. In one instance, you might have to deal with a swarming army of armored vehicles, while in another, the issue might be toxins insta-killing all of your ground units. The exquisite balance between all generals is on full display here. I also appreciated all the different map layouts that were created just for this mode. It helps it go above and beyond the regular skirmish battles, and it's an extraordinary addition to an already amazing game. The zero-hour expansion is a must-have if you're ever going to play Command & Conquer Generals. The new units alone are worth it, but luckily it comes with an impressive set of brand new campaigns and the extremely fun challenge mode. I'm going to give this expansion a 9 out of 10. Have you played Command & Conquer Generals? What are your thoughts on the game? Let me know, and I will see y'all next time.